Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Electromagnetic field theory, and today our topic is magnetic force, materials, and inductance. Okay, so first of all, force between the differential current element. So this is actually a current carrying conductor. Okay, and the flux lines. And these are this kind of carrying conductor is placed in uh, current and magnetic field. Okay, for example, this is actually the case of the motor, electric motor. What actually happened in the electric motor? We are placing a current carrying conductor inside magnetic field. Okay, so this is actually the B. Okay, and the current is flowing in that conductor. Okay, so this current carrying conductor experienced a force. Okay, for example, this is in the upward direction, is in the downward direction. So a rotation will be started. Okay, so by this way motor is operating. So whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, just like this, current carrying conductor is placed in magnetic field, a force acts on that conductor. Okay, it will experience a force, and the conductor move in the direction of the force. Okay, so it will move in the the direction of the force will be, the conductor will move in that direction. So consider a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. Okay, this is a current carrying conductor. Let I is the uh, current moving in that conductor. L is the length of that conductor. Okay, so consider the theta angle between the flux lines. Okay, the flux lines and the conductor. So it may be any theta. Okay, it depends. So let B be the magnetic flux density, let theta be the angle between the current I and the B, and L be the length of that conductor. So now the force experienced by the conductor when placed in the magnetic field is given by F is directly proportional to I, means greater is the current flowing through the conductor, greater the force it will experience. And similarly, greater the length, greater will be the force, greater the B, greater will be the force experience. And now sound sine theta, not the theta but the sine theta. Okay, so as the sine theta is greater, the force will be greater. So combining all the above relation, we will get F is directly proportional to B I L sine theta. So let's suppose the proportionality constant is 1. So F is equal to B I L sine theta. Okay, so uh, in order to find out that direction, uh, we define the force in terms of the cross product. Okay, so merging or absorbing this sine theta in this B and L, so we can write F is equal to I L cross B. Now this cross is actually the cross product between the L and B. Okay, so by this way we can find the direction of the F. Okay, in this by this relation we can't be able to find the direction of the L, but by this the right hand rule, as we can see that in the cross product, for example, this is A, and this is the vector B. Okay, and the B is moving towards A, so the direction will be this. And if A is moving towards B, then direction will be this. Okay, so by the cross product we can find the direction of these two resultant vectors, which is actually the F. Okay, now consider a small portion of the conductor. Okay, small portion dl. So uh, you will find the force experienced by the differential portion of the conductor df. Df is equal to I dl cross b. Okay, this is the differential length, so differential force will be df. In order to find the total force, so integrating the above equation and apply integration on both sides, we will get f is equal to integration of I dl cross b. This is the case when the conductor is not the straight. Okay. Now the force between the two current carrying conductor. Okay, this the previous one was the case for the one conductor. Now the current carrying conductor by the two conductors. Okay, so here we have two conductors. This is conductor number one. This is conductor number two. Okay, so uh, taking the differential differential portion of this length dl, and this is the point of observation on the conductor number 2. L is the length of the conductor. These two having the same length of L. The current in conductor 1 is I1, the current in the conductor 2 is I2. Remember, we are assuming that the current in both of these two will be upward direction, means the same direction. Okay, R12 is the position vector from the source to the point of observation. The conductor 1 is acting as a source, the conductor 2 is acting as a point of observation. Okay, now consider a small portion of the conductor 1, that is dl1. When current flows through the conductor, it generates a magnetic field in the in its direction. Okay, let r12 be the distance vector between dl1 and the point of observation p. Therefore, magnetic flux density due to dl2 at the point of observation is given by db1 is equal to mu naught over 4 pi. Mu naught is actually the constant for the medium constant for the source magnet and the point of observation. Okay, it shows the medium, whether it is air or any insulator, oil, etc. Okay, so the medium between the source magnet and the test magnet is represented by the mu naught. Okay, so dB1, the magnetic flux density due to the differential length dl1 is equal to dB1 is equal to mu naught over 4 pi I1 dl1 cross r21. Okay, this is the position vector divided by r21 cube. This is the vector, this is the magnitude. So the total strength of the magnetic field at the point of observation is given by b is equal to mu naught over 4 pi uh, I dl cross r21 over r21 whole cube. Okay. Now another conductor, current can conductor I2 is in the same direction as I1 is placed at the point of observation. Now consider a small portion of dl2 of this conductor. We need to find the differential force acting on the conductor 2 by the magnetic field of conductor 1, and which is given by df2 is equal to I2 dl2 cross b1. In order to find the total force acting on the conductor 2, we have to integrate it. So by integration, f2 is equal to integration of c2 I2 dl2 cross b1. So using equation number 1, replacing the value of b1 from the equation number 1, we will get f2 is equal to this. Okay, so if I1 and I2 are in the same direction, there is a force of repulsion between them, and if these two are in the opposite direction, then there will be a force of attraction between them. This is understood. Okay, now force acting on a moving charges. For example, uh, these are the current. This is actually the current, and the current is actually the motion of the rate of the change of the charges. So let's mm, have let's to find the force acting on these charges, these moving charges. So for that purpose we have to introduce two things. The one is the charge, because we have to find the force on the moving charges, and because of the motion of these charges we have to introduce velocity in this relation. Okay, so consider a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field, just like this. Okay, whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a force, as we have discussed in the previous topic. So this force is given by F is equal to I dl cross B. This equation number one. As we know that the rate of change of charge is called the current, means I is equal to dq over dt. Okay, the rate of change of current is called the rate of change of charge is called current. Okay, so putting these values, the value of I in equation number one, we will get F. So we have introduced, what we are going to do, we are going to introduce q. F is equal to dq over dt dl cross B. So rearranging the equation, so now dt can be written over here, and this was for the purpose to introduce the velocity. Okay, so as we know that the rate of change of displacement is called the velocity. So uh, dl is the distance covered by the moving charges per unit time, that is called the velocity of the moving charge. So dl by dt is equal to V. So putting this in equation number 2, we will get F is equal to dq V. We have introduced V because of the motion of these charges. Okay, so dq V cross B, where dq is equal to magnitude of the charge moving in the small segment of the conductor. So the total charge, so if we are talking about the total charges, so we have to integrate it and we will get total charge q. Okay, so uh, the relation will be Fm. Fm is the force experienced by the magnetic field. Okay, so Q V cross B. As we know that the charge moving in an electric field. Okay, when the charge moving in is in an electric field, it experiences a force caused by the strength of the electric field. Okay, so F equal to E Q, because E is equal to F by Q, force applied on unit positive charge is electric field intensity. So F E will be equal to E Q. Okay, so when a charge moves in the electric field as well as in the magnetic field, then by superposition theorem we can say that F is equal to Fm plus Fe. Fm is the force experienced by the magnetic field and F is the force experienced by the electric field. So by superposition theorem we can add these two. Fm is equal to Q V cross B, this one, and Fe is equal to Eq, this one. Okay, so q is common, so taking q as common we will left with E plus V cross B. Okay, and this relation is actually the net force applied by both of these two fields, magnetic field and the electric field, and this is called the Lorentz equation. Okay, so we have discussed two topics in this lecture: the magnetic force. Okay, force experienced by a current carrying conductor in magnetic field, and then the force between the two current carrying conductors. Okay, just like this. uh, okay, and then the force acting on a moving charge. Okay, so for this purpose we have introduced q and V, and then we have find the Fm and Fe. After the superposition theorem we will get the final equation for the Lorentz, and that is called the Lorentz equation, and that is equal to F is equal to Q into E plus V cross B. Remember this, there is a cross product between the velocity and the magnetic flux density. So that was all about the lecture. If you have any difficulty you can contact me. Thank you.